more episodes of the Games4all podcast, please check out our website, www.games4allpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/Games4all. And you can like us on Facebook, just search for Games4all podcast. Games4all is brought to you by iPage. For more affordable and greener web hosting, check out ipage.com. Hello and welcome to the Games4all podcast, episode 36. I'm your host Dan Young, and with me as always is my good friend
James Craigie, piss stain on the trousers of inconsequence.
It's nice.
Yeah, someone called me that earlier in the week.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was good.
That was just robbing other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But it was directed at me, so I feel that I can take claim of it.
Fair enough, you do that. Okay, so welcome to the show. We're going to start off with what we've been playing, as always, and I think you're going to start this week.
Yeah. Obviously, DC Universe Online, talked about that. There's nothing much new to add until the news later on, so I've been playing that.
Yeah.
Also, finally got around to playing the Little Big Planet 2 demo.
Yeah, how you finding that?
I want the game, dude. You see, I had the first one,
yeah,
but I heard that the second one was coming out, and it was like said that all the stuff is all backwards compatible with the first one. So I sold the first one, fully expecting to buy the second one when it came out.
Right.
Bought a lot of other stuff recently, so I've not been able to afford it, but I will be getting it at some point.
Yeah, cool. Well, I've not kept up too much with it because I really like the first one.
Yeah. Well, everybody.
Yeah.
That's why there was a second one.
I imagine so. Yeah. When I had back in the days when I had a PS3, it was a fantastic game and a lot of fun, but I've not kept up really with what's new, what's been added this time around. So
well,
care to enlighten me?
Yeah, there's like 3 story mission levels on it. They're just showing some of the new stuff that there is.
Right.
A lot of it's like new gadgets and bits and bobs. Obviously, there are like new gameplay types, new sort of puppet scripting,
cool,
and everything. But the first level basically shows off the grapple hook.
Yeah.
Which helps you get up places. Adds a little new dynamic to it. Because obviously we had paint guns and rocket packs in the first one. They act similar to that. There are certain points where you can grapple up. And the first level sees you sort of racing up a tower, collecting all the stickers and orbs and everything, and just shows you little bits of what you can do with that and how that can add into it. It's very sort of Bionic Commando, old style type thing, which
That's
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The second level in the demo is more about vehicles,
right,
and certain things you can do. I mean, you start off on Robo-Bun, which is kind of like a bunny rabbit, which can jump, and you pull like the action button, which I think is the R1 button, as it normally is, and it does certain attacks. And there are certain vehicles that all seem fairly similar, but you can make do and do different things.
Right. Okay.
Like there's like a rabbit that jumps, a dog that sort of runs and jumps and does like a weird sort of bark thing that pushes blocks aside.
Okay.
And some sort of weird burrowing gerbil that just kind of spins around and breaks through stuff. But it's showing that there's a lot more freedom with like making vehicles, because you had rocket cars and switches to pull cars. There's a lot more you can do, creating sort of like mech style things, and
that sounds pretty cool.
You can do stuff. The third level is like a versus level.
Right.
It's like a player versus player, typical 2-player thing.
Yeah.
Basically, my favourite word. Basically, you have a helmet which has a cannon on it, and you have to shoot each other.
Oh, right, okay.
And whoever gets the most points by the time the timer runs out wins. It's just things like that.
Yeah, so it sounds pretty cool. I mean, the first game was really creative and innovative and all that kind of stuff. And obviously to push things further, we've got to add more content. And I like that they didn't hold backwards compatibility thing, because there's nothing worse than showing out money for different bits and pieces.
No,
of this game.
They implemented a lot of new sort of ideas and new things with the first game. Like I think it was the Metal Gear Solid pack where they introduced the paint gun, and the Pirates of the Caribbean one where they actually had underwater sections. I see this. Obviously, it doesn't look a hell of a lot different. No,
I wouldn't imagine it would.
Slightly more polished and everything. Maybe it still looks great. It's still an amazing looking game, but they've added so many new different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And the way it's laid out and set out, I think it's worthy addition. it might just be like sort of one big expansion pack, but it's a whole new game and it's all everything there. So I think it's worth it.
I think, I mean, if I had a PS3, I'd definitely be picking that up. I'm solely tempted to get one just to kind of be able to play this, but
Yeah, apart from that, the only other thing I've been playing is the Dead Space Extraction. I just played the trial version, because obviously with Dead Space 2 on the PS3, they did free with it is a re-release of Extraction, which was the Wii game, sort of the light gun shooter style thing. But that's now available on its own on the PlayStation Network, so I just got the trial for that, just to try it out and see how it is. It's alright.
Yeah, I mean, I've played the Wii version and I had fun. It was alright. It was, it was what it was. It wasn't anything like majorly special that you had to absolutely play, but it was, if you like Dead Space and House of the Dead, and
it's got a certain sort of creepiness, and it's good fun. It's easy to sort of pick up and do.
It's not too difficult to sort of get the hang of.
And I saw you, because I know you had it on the Wii, and I did see you play a little bit of it. And PlayStation version, although it looks fairly similar, it does benefit
from being in HD.
Yeah,
it does look
a little
bit crisper.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty impressed with that overall. Obviously, like I say, like you said earlier, if you get the PS3 or the limited edition PS3 version, you get Extraction with it, which is, as a freebie, which obviously takes full, advantage of Move, which is pretty sweet.
It's very responsive.
As far as I know, that's the only version that's available for PlayStation 3 at the moment. I think it's like the first run of discs are going to have Extraction free. Yeah. After that, they may drop it. I don't know.
Well, like I said, it's available
everywhere I've been. It comes with, it is the limited edition. So I've not seen a non-limited edition for the PS3. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But
like I said, when if they do get to the point where they stop doing it, it's there on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah, people can download it.
Pick it up. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Well,
so go on then, give us this huge mystery of what you've been playing this week. Then,
actually, I've been playing two games this week, and
really,
they're very they're both very, very different from each other. About 3-4 weeks ago now, we were going to mention the news, but never got around to it. The Mac App Store for computers went up. So basically now there's an App Store built into the operating system.
Yeah.
So if you've got a Mac, chances are you've seen the Mac App Store. It's pretty handy, some cool shit on there, but games is quite an interesting thing, because for ages the most downloaded thing on that App Store was Angry Birds. And I
think it still is, isn't it?
It probably is. I haven't checked lately, but I kind of like, I've been wanting to kind of get around to playing it, to be honest. And I think you can get it on the PS3 now. I think I don't think it's not on 360 or anything like that. So I haven't got an Android phone, so I haven't been able to play it. So I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to download it for the Mac. And so I've been playing that on the Mac, and it's fun. A bit late to the party on that one, because it's been around for a little while.
I've had it on my iPod Touch for a little while.
It's good fun.
It is good fun. Very addictive.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been kind of in between playing other things. I've been sort of playing some Angry Birds and quite enjoying it. And it's just one of those games you can pick up and just play a little bit of, and then just kind of put it down and do something else. And I could do quite like games like that. I mean, like Plants vs Zombies is kind of one of those games as well, and Peggle, a lot of the PopCap games, a bit like that, but obviously not made by them. So that's kind of fun. I think I'll probably play more of it this week as well.
I think they've just announced that they're releasing.
There's an expansion, and there's been some leaked screenshots of a possible sequel.
Ooh.
So
that's not in the news.
There's no real confirmation of that. It's just showing another, like, it was a dodgy screenshot from some, I think it's like a German TV show or something. It was, whatever.
Pesky
Germans. But there's this whole rumour that there's a second one, and there's apparently an expansion for it. I think it's Valentine's Day it's supposed to come out, or something like that. I can't remember now. But
well, they did the Christmas one, didn't they? So I would imagine so.
It's pretty cool. Been playing that, and then obviously for anyone who's ever listened to the show will probably know. Especially if you listened to last week's show, I did rant on a little bit about Dead Space. Yeah. In the run-up to Dead Space 2 coming out, I played and finished through Dead Space 1 again, because I enjoyed it that much. I figured, screw it, I'm just going to play that. And obviously Dead Space 2 came out last week. And I picked it up, and I'm going to talk at length about it now, as you can imagine.
Just let me make myself comfortable.
Well, put it this way, it's been a long time coming, and I've been excited about this, and I've mentioned it as far back as probably since we started the show, because like our second or third show in, second or third episode in, we started talking about E3 stuff, and that featured pretty heavily in my top E3 kind of, games of excitement, let's just say, and it's number 2 on my most anticipated games of 2011. So of course I'm a little bit excited about it. So I picked up the game. I was surprised that it was 2 discs because I got it on 360. Obviously PS3 version is just 1 disc, it's 1 Blu-ray, and you get Extraction, you bastards. And would have been so hard to make a Connect version. But anyway,
the thing is, you can play Extraction with just the DualShock controller.
Yeah, true. So yeah, but I've got it on Wii, so whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's all good. But as a Dead Space fan, I put this game and I started playing it, and I was just absolutely, first of all, absolutely amazed at how fucking amazing the game looks. It is fucking beautiful.
Ringing endorsement.
I'm going to talk about the differences between these 2 games, because I think they are both fairly different games from each other. But the one thing to note is graphically they are very different as well.
Yeah, I did notice that. The second one
really does look very, very shiny and polished.
Very, very good.
So the graphics hall in me was extremely pleased to begin with. And I don't mean like for anyone. Most people who are going to pick this up have played at least the first few levels of it by now, I should imagine. So I'm not going to give away any major spoilers or anything, but you are pretty much thrown into a fucked up situation very, 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 very early on in this game.
Yeah, I saw you play the first chapter.
That to me is fucking genius. That there isn't a massive build up to the shit hitting the fan. It's just it's all action from minute 1, and what I love about this game is also they don't rely on taking you out of the experience at any point. There are cutscenes as such, but it's all in engine, and the action kicks off again straight away as soon as the scene's over. You're back in control, and it's that kind of, you never really feel like you're being taken out of that experience or that you're losing control of it or anything like that. So those opening few moments are fucked up, fucking crazy ass shit, and it's like, hats off, man, to Visceral, because I'm going to say this first of all before I really get into the meat and bones of this, but right, Visceral made Extraction, which I thought was fun. It's its own standalone. It doesn't compare to Dead Space really, but it's a good fun game. And you know what? I must have ranted quite a bit about how bad Dante's Inferno was. Yeah, that was also made by Visceral. So that was last year's kind of game from them, and that was probably one of my worst games of last year, easily.
Yeah, so you were as excited as you were for this one.
I was a little bit. When we played the demo at MCM, and a lot of that I felt a bit of relief, because it felt, this is Dead Space. They haven't done anything too much to it to make it not Dead Space, And I think that's another thing. I mean, if you've played the first one and you like the first one, they've not really fucked with this game too much. They've kept it pretty much the same. The basic stuff's still there. There's just a lot of additions. There's a lot of little tweaks here and there.
Bit of ironing out.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, a lot of people are moaning about it's the same sort of thing over and over again. It's the same enemies and that kind of crap. But I mean, they've added some stuff. They've recycled a lot of stuff from the first game. But I love it. I think it looks amazing. It plays better than it has, the first one did. The controls are a little bit switched around, which took a little bit getting used to, especially after playing the first Dead Space so soon. But once you got used to it, it made more sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've swapped. They've every little tweak they've made has been for a reason, and you can kind of work that out. It's like the only thing this game really lacks, I think, is it's a little thin on puzzles.
Right.
That makes any sense.
Yeah.
And it's very, very thin on like boss battles. We like a bit of boss battles, there's a little bit of that in the first Dead Space, not so much of it in this one.
I think most of the major boss battles in this, per se, are like the interactive cutscenes, like you mentioned, aren't they? Or
sort of in some ways, but then some of those let's just call them by their names, necromorphs or whatever. They kind of reoccur. You have this big epic scene with one of them or whatever, but you'll get like 2 or 3 of them in the game, and it's not quite as it's just take this motherfucker down kind of thing. There's no major like, oh, I'm getting fucking thrown into space kind of quick blow it up, that kind of thing. But no, I really like what they've done with this game. It pretty much ticks every one of my boxes. It's exceeded most of my expectations. Wasn't quite as impressed with the ending.
No.
Not that it's disappointing, but I just wanted a little more out of it, a little bit more. It builds up, and there's all this epic shit going on, and then, it kind of felt like they could have pushed it a bit further, action-wise, but no, overall, really, really good. Speaking of pushing boundaries, Visceral really... some fucking crazy shit in this game, fucked up shit.
Yeah,
stuff that
I saw a couple of bits.
Stuff that you... I was playing it, I was like, I had to stop and think, shit, is this too much? Is this going a bit far, But, I think for a lot of people that ain't going to be a problem. So, no, this game's fucking amazing. A lot of people made the comparison that, if you look at it as... Not, it's a weird comparison to make, but like if you look at it in terms of films, this Dead Space 2 is like Aliens.
Yeah.
James Cameron's Aliens.
Yeah.
And the first Dead Space is very much like Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yeah.
So if you think of them in those terms, you kind of know what you're going to get. If you've played the first Dead Space, that is, and you compare it to Alien, it's the classic, the roots, but then, you've got the big hardcore action, adrenaline-filled version of that, which is Alien. So, that's very, very much maybe what they were going for. Who knows? But absolutely amazing. Am I missing anything out? Yeah, let me have a think. No, fucking I enjoyed all the way through. It seems longer than it really is.
Yeah,
there's more chapters in this game, but I think it's like this weird thing because the whole game there's like no load times unless you die.
No.
And I think they've done a fucking amazing job of that. And
do you think maybe it might seem that way because of the pacing of it? That's well paced. You don't have a lot of
exactly
downtime. It keeps the action sort of flowing.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty solidly, action packed. Although there's very few moments where you get the kind of chance to catch your breath or whatever, so to speak. But fans of the original are absolutely going to love it, and if you don't, I mean, there's something fucking wrong with you because, but like,
Well, I have to say, it has convinced me to give it a go.
Yeah, and that's saying something. It really is saying something.
Yeah,
so I'm impressed.
At some point, I do now have copies of Dead Space and Dead Space 2, and I will be playing them at some point.
Yeah, you're not sure quite when, but hey, I think you're missing out if you don't play it. There's a lot of really good stuff in these games. And I'll talk about multiplayer in a minute, but like, because I haven't even hit that yet, so it's going to be a long talk. But what they've done in this game, that with sound and lighting and little things that are they that important? Yeah, they're fucking hard. They are so important to the experience of this game, and I don't think there's any better kind of survival horror game out there at the moment, and there probably won't be for a while, not of this kind of caliber, because it is easy to kind of compare it to movies, but I'm going to do it again because like the thing with a horror movie is I think most people, like myself, I'm quite desensitized to horror movies.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah, exactly, and some people aren't, but for me, like, this does everything a horror movie does, but it's better because you are in control. You can... Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's how this medium works so well, I think, for these kind of games. You
get that sort of sense of peril, whereas when you're watching a film, you're just observing it. It's all happening
you're
to these people.
You're watching it happen to somebody else, and you know what? You're in control. You can walk through that door or you can be a pussy and be like, yeah, I ain't gonna go there. Or do you know what I mean? Though,
Why are you looking at me when you say
I'm
that?
just saying, like, but you know what I mean? Though you're in total control the whole time, apart from like these mini cutscenes and stuff.
Even some of them you're in control of.
Yeah, true. Absolutely amazing, absolutely gory, absolutely amazing looking, sounds amazing, gorgeous game, fucked up as hell, but amazing. And the multiplayer's a fun addition.
Yeah, go on, talk about multiplayer, because you were intrigued by this.
I mean, you know, there's certain, like I said last week, there's certain games that you think, you know what, multiplayer of that would be kind of interesting, like Assassin's Creed. You know, you kind of think, you know, they could do something with that isn't just going to be the simple tacked on multiplayer you get on a lot of games. And the ideas behind the multiplayer are actually pretty good, but the execution of it isn't as good as I'd hoped. It's still fun, you know. I've only played a little bit of it. To be honest, I've played the fuck out of the campaign, and I've finished it twice now. Okay, I tell you, I've been playing some hell out of Dead Space, but like, it is that good. The multiplayer hasn't gripped me that much. It hasn't said, you know what, I'm just going to keep playing this, and I'm going to keep leveling up. I played it for probably an hour and a half or something in total, and I've got up to like level 6, so I leveled up really quickly.
Quite fast then, yeah.
Yeah, you can level up stupidly quick on this, but it is fun, it's great. I mean, I think the most fun comes out of playing as the Necromorphs, because you get 4 different types, basically 4 different classes. They all do something different, you know. They all control differently, they've all got different attacks and stuff. And you know what? It's a weird kind of... I mean, for the engineer side of things, every map's objective based.
Yeah.
You either have to set off a series of things that will trigger escape pods, or you have to destroy something in the middle of the map, and it takes a fucking long time to do it. And you have to work together as a team to do that. A lot of the people I was playing with didn't seem to realise that was the fucking point, but hey, whatever, you know. But I think a lot of people just had more fun just killing each other, and you know, I mean, some people will be great at being the engineers. Some people find that the necromorph side of things they're better suited to. You know, you do die a lot and have to respawn a lot as the necromorphs, but then you know these engineers have things like you can use stasis. You know, you can once you go up several levels, you unlock more weapons and stuff and better suits and shit like that. So, you know, it's not imbalanced at any. I don't think anyway. Personally, I didn't feel particularly imbalanced. But you know, you will die a lot being a necromorph because you can be stasis and things like that.
But they're kind of the endless horde.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you die, you respawn.
But I mean, out of all of the four major classes, I think I enjoyed being the pack which is like the little. Not the baby, but like the fucking
child.
Little kid that, you know, and you know, that was, they're really quick, and you know they can scrap the fuck out of the engineers like big time, and you know take them down really quickly, and you know it was quite fun, and you can quickly respawn again if you're that. Cause some of them you have to wait a long time to respawn with. So they have tried balancing it out. Some people might not feel it's fair, but I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
Well, again, this is
control
sort of
just like the campaign as well, which is, you know. Especially as the engineers, obviously, but like the necromorphs take a little bit getting used to, but they're fun. It's fun. It's a nice addition. It's not perfect. There's, you know, people aren't going to love it as much as they maybe want to, but it's good.
The current theme with multiplayer seems to be, I know Assassin's Creed are doing it a lot, and things like Call of Duty, they've been doing it a lot with like map packs and extra missions and stuff. Is additions and extra downloads, stuff to add, like new modes and new maps and stuff. So.
I think they are planning a DLC pack for PS3 and 360. I don't think it's going to be on PC, which adds 2 more campaign missions and a whole bunch of multiplayer stuff. Yeah, and they've already said what it's called. I don't think they've dated it yet, but it's coming out soonish. Yeah, just to kind of keep people interested in it.
Yeah,
you know?
Just to kind of like build up on that, and it gives them a chance to like take in criticisms, things that people didn't like, and then try and address those. So it might be one where you pick it up in a year's time. Yeah,
exactly. But overall, fantastic, really solid, beautiful campaign, and pretty average, but very playable and enjoyable multiplayer. Awesome. Nothing to scream about, but you know, it's on the disc. You might as well give it a look.
Awesome,
you know, kind of fun.
Okay, is that it for
I'm pretty much done now, I think, yeah. I mean, I could probably talk more, but, you know, let's not.
No.
But no, Dead Space 2, you get it. It's beautiful.
All right.
It's good times. Played it twice. All right, then.
Okay.
Well, I can take a quick break, well-deserved break, and we're going to come back with some news. Hello and welcome back to the Games4all podcast. Now is the point in the show where I sign over to James and he talks about the latest news for the week.
That's right, Dan.
Jesus, stop with the cheese.
I have to think of bad links now.
Don't, please don't. Anyway, news. Come on.
News. Okay, if you've been hiding under a rock or in a coma for the last week, you might not have heard about the big unveiling of Sony's next handheld.
The PlayStation 2 / next generation...
PlayStation Portable 2.
Yeah.
It's not officially called the PlayStation Portable 2.
Next generation
PSP2.
portable...
Next generation portable is what it's being called.
Fuck toy, yeah.
Now, there have been loads of rumours, and I think the rumours were so... There are so many of them, so many sort of sources to back it up and everything. It's kind of a big given that this was coming. I think everybody knew that it was coming.
Didn't we mention, it was last week or the week before, we said that the rumour that people were going around saying that it was as powerful as the PS3, etc.
Yeah.
A lot of bullshit.
Yeah, but we'll get into
We're
that.
called bullshit. I mean.
There were a whole lot of images of it looking fairly like the PSP Go with the whole flip screen with the things
that turned out to also be bullshit.
Yeah, that complete bullshit. It looks like a big version of the original first gen PSP, just with 2 sticks. But
so 2 thumb sticks, that's cool.
That is cool.
That's something I think they've needed. It's something that people have been calling out for, I think.
Because a lot of the games, although they've been good, they've suffers the same thing I think the DS did with camera controls and stuff like 3D action games. Yeah. At least they've got that there. They've also it's got quite a few bits on it. It's got like a touch screen.
Yeah.
Quite a big touch screen.
And
it's got a touch pad at the back as well.
Oh, amazing.
So you can stroke its back.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, it all looks great and everything. They've showed off a few games and stuff for it.
Some
Uncharted, etc., etc. It looks great. It's got a sort of high definition screen.
It's 960 by 540.
That's like somewhere between enhanced definition and high definition. Not quite high definition.
No.
But it looks good. It looked good. You know what I mean?
For the size it is, I think it'll look alright.
So, here's the deal. What technology in this device is actually new? I don't mean new to the PlayStation Portable or the whatever you want to call it, but what's new in portable gaming?
I think that is it. There's nothing really.
There isn't anything.
It's just the fact that they've got all this technology together.
It's got more or less the same definition screen as the iPad, but the iPad's bigger. That has 3G and shit too. Yeah,
this has all that.
Exactly.
Everything.
It's got pretty much everything the DS has got and stuff. Touch screen, whatever. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's sort of what they're doing here is kind of going, all right, let's listen to people and let's say, all right, you want this, you want that, let's make that, but at the same time, let's not give this any gimmicks, let's not give this anything new, because let's be honest, this is what's going head to head with the 3DS. Yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure I know who's coming out on top here, because this is going to be more expensive.
I think it's something like $400.
$399, something like that. I think.
It's ridiculous.
The 3DS is $250,
which is still expensive, but not.
Yeah, but if you have them side by side, I'm pretty sure I know which one's going to sell more.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 3D technology with we don't need the glasses. That's the gimmick. That's what the 3DS is. It's the gimmick. The PlayStation Portable 2, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the NGP, it's PlayStation 2 near PlayStation 3 graphics on a handheld. Yeah. I mean that is it, really. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of social networking type dollars.
I think there will be people.
Is that worth spending $400?
I think there will be people who are fans who will get it. People who may be let down.
The same people who bought the fucking PSP Go probably.
Yeah,
buy this.
Probably.
But don't get me wrong, it looks great. The graphics look pretty fucking amazing. It's definitely an advancement in handheld gaming technology. But if those sort of graphics I'd rather have that on my big screen TV in my front room, not in my hand.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
it's not always about the graphics.
No, I think overall, Nintendo have probably pulled this one already.
Yeah, I think the war was over before the battle even began, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is pretty much their last attempt. If this doesn't work, if this doesn't sell big numbers, if it doesn't make money for Sony, then yeah, they pretty much lost the handheld race. I think, you know, that's safe to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, we kind of knew it was going to happen.
Absolutely, but so there's no big surprise. I mean,
I think the 3DS is a more interesting. I think device.
I think anyway. If this came out like a year or two ago.
Oh yeah, if this came out instead of the fucking PSP Go or the PSP whatever, then hell yeah, people would have got behind it. It would have built some momentum, sold a few more units than it probably will now, and it may have had a head start on the 3DS. But I don't think. You know, the Leviathan that is Nintendo's 3DS or whatever is unstoppable.
They've already said, and we've mentioned it on the show, they're not threatened by Sony or Microsoft or anything when it comes to the handheld market. They're more threatened by Apple. And
exactly.
With the unveiling of this, although it's gotten a lot of media attention, I say you go on any games website now, that's pretty much there'll be 3 or 4 stories about this.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely
getting the coverage,
a lot of coverage, but is it? I think it's a bit. It's too little, too late. And yeah, like you said, 2 years ago this would have been amazing. It would have, you know, people would have bought it. But you know, you can't. They're trying to play catch up all the time, and it's always just too little, too late.
Unless they're doing.
I think it's time to give up, dudes.
No. Unless they're trying to do something different and they're trying to keep things aside to unveil later. But
if this fucking thing was a hologram, then you're talking. You know? Yeah. It's a fucking 3D hologram. Yeah. You know, that's some technology. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But this doesn't really do anything majorly special other than it has good graphics and a slightly higher resolution screen than most handhelds. You know, that's it. The 3DS is 3D, you know, without glasses. Beat that, Sony. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. Carrying on with Sony, it's a fairly sort of Sony-centric week this week when it comes to.
Go
on. DC Universe Online. Obviously, all our listeners know I'm a fan.
Yes,
I love it. The big controversy is that it's a paid MMO, which shouldn't be a controversy because all MMOs are paid for. They all have a subscription.
You know what you're getting into when you buy this fucking game. At least you should do if you know.
Yeah. What they did say and what they said right from the get-go is what your subscription pays for is not only the server maintenance, but you will be getting content nearly every month.
Yeah.
For it.
You can't argue with that. That's pretty cool. You know?
And already it's been out for less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got like another week or two.
Yeah.
And then it'll be out for a month. But they've already announced the February update.
Awesome. Well, that's what you want because at the end of the day, there's the level cap was what, 30?
30. But the thing is they haven't...
quick to get to though, so you reckon?
But all the good stuff, as I found out, all the good stuff happens at level 30. The getting there is basically teaching you the game.
Okay.
Once you get there, you have a whole new set of tasks.
Well, that's kind of cool. But a lot of people would have perhaps exhausted the game by now and have done a lot of stuff in it, and you know, might be looking for something extra, a little bit, you know.
But they haven't raised the level cap
in
this update. But what they have done is they've added like new story missions, new PvP missions, new content, new equipment, new everything.
You know they're going to raise that level cap at some point, though.
At some point, most likely.
They will, sure. But they must do.
But they've added things there. Certain things that are there, like there's this whole sort of trading shop thing which hasn't worked or nobody knows what is about. That will be going active.
Cool.
So you'll be able to like trade equipment and stuff. So if you pick up something cool, you can put it there and auction it off.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, you can't argue with a free update that does stuff, you know, that's got some extra, you know, some decent content in there.
And it's kind of, they're sort of basing it around sort of characters. I mean, obviously the DC Universe has a lot of big characters there, and you work with some of them in the main game. But there are certain characters that are around there that you see, but don't actually do a lot in the game, or not that I've seen so far. One of them is Catwoman, and this one's going to be basically centered around sort of Catwoman, new story mission for her. But also, there's a lot of the PvP side of it are being added as well, new duos and whatever. If you don't know what they are, look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you now. But
so this comes out in February. And
they reckon probably mid to late February, which is about a month, just over a month after release.
Sweet.
So that's cool. Also, they've announced that on Valentine's Day, there'll be a little special extra content. There'll be like a big 100-player instance where you get to play as a cherub and do like little multiple things and give you special.
So that's kind of cool. They're doing some little interesting things with it just to keep people going.
Lots of MMOs do this. They do like certain events, whatever. Like I know City of Heroes at Halloween they do the Dead Rising.
So that's the thing. That's what if people get bored of it before that and they stop paying for it, that's the sort of thing that's going to get people back on and going, I'm going to pay for this month because I want to play that thing. You know?
And they've linked some of the new content to feats. Obviously, in game you don't. There are trophies for the PS3.
Yeah.
But there are only a few of them. There aren't a huge amount, and they're fairly easy to get.
Yeah.
But what you do get is feats, which are kind of like achievements, little things that get you points in the game that you can put towards buying new skills and stuff.
Awesome.
They're going to be adding some new feats in there, where with the Valentine's Day content, you will get these little, Be My Valentine's Day cards, and if you can hand them to bosses while you're refighting them, you get feats for that. Okay. So little challenges, little things in there. It's the sort of thing I'm hoping that they do more of as it goes on.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to keep people paying their monthly fee for it, then I'm sure they will.
I mean, I'm sort of tempted at the moment now to sort of put it aside for a little while, leave it a couple of months until more of this content has come out, and then get back into it and have a huge wealth of it there. I imagine a few other people will be doing this.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what the future and what other updates are coming, because it can only get bigger and bigger and bigger. People sort of bashing it for being boring and sterile and full of bugs and everything, but it's only new. It's not been out a month yet.
Yeah, true.
And it's still, obviously, they've got a lot more planned, so watch this space.
Awesome. Jesus, this is like the fucking Sony episode or something.
Absolutely. Another famous sort of thing we have with Sony is the PlayStation being hacked.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks
times
back, and even further back than that, really.
Now, the last firmware update, the 3.55 firmware, obviously they said, this will combat the piracy and all that.
Yeah,
hacked. They've now announced that coming soon they're releasing the 3.56 firmware, basically just again to combat the anti-piracy. Yeah. It's exactly the same.
This is the only reason they're going to be releasing firmware updates, really. It's not going to add any features, it's going to combat piracy for like a day.
Yeah. But the main guy who hacks them, he's had all his computers and everything taken away from
That's
him.
That's not going to stop him.
I have a feeling within a week he'll be able to hack it with a pocket calculator plugged into a bloody phone box cable or something.
Anyway,
but
get all MacGyver and shit about it.
Yeah. So cotton reel, elastic bands, and a paperclip.
So that's the thing. That's everyone's attitude these days. There's a problem, we'll just patch it. We'll just put a firmware update out. We'll just do this, do that.
I'd actually like to see what the odds are on how long it's going to take to get hacked.
I'm sure that somebody's
put some money on
got
that.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably some bets and shit on. That's probably a fucking countdown on that shit. Fair play. I mean, these people are. This guy's got some notoriety for a reason, and he hacked the iPhone first before anybody else, and now he's worked on the PS3, and he's done that, and he's hacked it like twice now already. Like he hacked it, and then they hacked it a bit bigger, sort of thing. Like it's fucking crazy.
See, they're going to keep doing this, and he's going to keep.
I think this is the thing. Sony's don't seem to realise. It doesn't really matter what measures you put in place. It's going to get hacked. It's going to happen again. It's only a matter of time. I mean, let's be honest. They said that HD DVDs and Blu-rays, they'd never be able to rip them. Gee, do you know what? That fucking happened. That didn't take people long to figure out.
No.
Oh, PS3 games will never, you never hack the PS3 and be able to download games or rip games or anything like that. Yeah, guess what? That fucking happened. Do you know what I mean? And you keep trying to plug that hole, but that leak just keeps getting bigger. So I'm just saying, there's just no way around it,
At this stage now, sort of announcing this and doing all this, it seems more like they're setting a challenge rather than...
It is. It's almost egging people on.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. This is the problem that this is the hole they're digging for themselves.
If they just let it go and accept that it happens, then, you know,
True.
they can probably cut some losses. But no, it's just going to get hacked. And
Because I think at the end of the day, they're going after these people. They're trying to, like, you know, it's costing them money and lawyers and all kinds of other admin and shit. And then they're getting people to make these firmware updates. That's going to cost them money.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, they're probably better off leaving it, like you say. But hey, you know, we're not Sony. We don't know what's best for them, I guess. But hey, you know, whatever. More news.
Yeah, more news. Sort of loosely linked. One of our favourite things on the show talking about is games to movies and movies to games.
Yes.
And stuff. They never go well.
Rarely. They never go well.
Never go well. There's been one or two passable exceptions,
maybe.
but
that are just ever so just tolerable.
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah. But this I actually find very interesting.
Okay.
Heavy Rain.
Yes.
Itself more like an interactive movie than
Indeed,
a game.
so there you go.
One of my favourite games of last year, even though I only played it towards the end of last year. I loved it. Very cinematic. Obviously, there's been talks about it becoming a movie. And, you know, it makes sense. It's one of those ones which would transfer over to a movie quite well. But, you know, there are lots of movies like it about. But anyway, they have gotten David Milch on board. Yeah. Now, he was the executive producer on Deadwood.
The creator, executive producer, and one of the writers, I think, on Deadwood.
Yeah. He is writing the script for the
I'm going to put some money on the table now and say that this movie is going to be full of bad language, especially the words cocksucker and cunt. Just saying.
We like Deadwood.
If anyone's watched Deadwood, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cocksucker.
I mean, you quite like
Deadwood was okay. It was an alright show. It never really got to where it was going. You know what I mean? You know, it's 3 seasons and it just kind of ends. And when you look back at it, the characters are really well written.
That's I think
the scripts are really good, but a lot of the time the stuff that's happening is just being talked about. It's not actually happening. You're not actually seeing a lot of what happens. And I think a little bit overrated and very disappointing overall.
But like you said, it's well written.
Still entertaining enough.
Good character.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens with this. There's a lot of these kind of we're making a movie out of this game kind of thing, but will this actually get greenlit? All that's really happened is that it's a successful game that's very movie-like in its own right, and this dude's just gone, hey, you know, I'd like to write this movie. Can I do it? You know, and I don't think there's actually a studio behind this yet or anything.
No.
I mean, this is what they're hoping for. They're kind of spreading their knees, saying, yeah, I'm writing fucking Heavy Rain the movie, and in the hopes that somebody will go, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll pick that up and we'll give you the money to make it, kind of thing. So we'll see. I mean, it's the same with the Gears of War movie. Who knows what's going on with that? There was going to be a Halo movie at some point, but I think that's been kind of deflated.
I said those a lot of the games movies that are talked about are like the big sci-fi things. I think Mass Effect is being made into a movie.
Yeah, that was
another
one. Yeah,
this one is more like a sort of a CSI /
Okay, I got one for you that we haven't talked about. That actually, we probably should. Dead Space. Yep, they've just they announced last week that there's a very high chance that it's going to be made into a feature film. And
see, to me, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And it also, I mean, not to talk about Dead Space anymore, but I'm going to. Visceral pretty much come out and said, you know, the reason it's been so successful is because they've taken the time and done everything right with it. And they don't want some half-assed bullshit attempt at a movie. They want to make it. Other people want it to be made. So, you know, they've made the anime, which is all pretty cool and that. But the reason it's been successful and people still really like it to this day is because they've taken their time with it and they've stayed true to the, you know, the heart of it and kind of, you know, not rushed it, not cashed in, so to speak. And that's what they basically said. Yeah, you know, there's a very high chance we're going to make a movie, but we're not going to rush it out the door. We're not going to do that cash in bullshit, you know. So, yeah, you know. Yeah. I hope the same goes for this because
I think
it could be a fantastic film.
Yeah, I think it all sort of ties into what the sort of audience are. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's based on a computer game. It's not going to be any good." But if they can actually get to where the roots of what the game is trying to tap into,
yeah,
like
they
I said,
make it so
Heavy
much
Rain
like
is more like a murder mystery thriller.
Exactly.
Whodunit.
make
Dead
that
Space itself has like the
it's a
whole
sci-fi horror.
Evil Dead, Event
Aliens.
Horizon,
Yeah, exactly.
the Thing sort of crowd.
The games that borrow heavily from movies in the first place and are influenced by movies, these are the kind of these are the kind of they translate back because films are direct influences on them. So
So, we want them to do well. Whether they will or not is debatable. But
Bioshock was another one, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That
That would make a good movie. I would watch a movie of that.
It could, I mean, Call of Duty, I think there was a talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the best one, Guitar Hero the movie.
Awesome.
That was talked about at some point.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Anyway,
not wanting to talk about Dead Space anymore. Dead Space 2.
Yeah. Seems to be
top of the UK sales charts.
Not surprising.
Obviously, you liked it. And you said a lot of other people liked it as well.
Yeah, it's got some pretty fucking good reviews all round. Some people were a bit on the fence about it. They weren't too sure. But generally, it got very, very good reviews. It is a fantastic game. I'm not surprised it's number one for a number of reasons. Not only because it's really, really good, but also because, hey, let's face it, it's January 2011. There's not a hell of a lot of games coming out.
No. It's there was Little Big Planet 2 last week, and this week, and this one's gone straight to the top. I mean,
Little Big Planet, I think, was number one until
this one knocked it off.
Exactly. So I mean, not surprised. The PS3 versions are real. There's definitely a lot of value to that, and not that there's no value to the 360 version or the PC version or whatever version. The game is fantastic. It's worth the money. It's worth every penny. It's worth every second that you play on this game. It's fantastic. But, it's not a shock to me, that it's done so well. And I bet it's done really well on PS3, actually, because of Extraction. And, a lot of people bought Move and probably are looking for more titles and shit to play with it. And they prefer, I kind of like Dead Space. Oh, it's got that game that I can play with. Yeah, I'll get it, It's that kind of... They've added that little incentive for PS3 owners, which I think is kind of cool. Well, a lot of EA games are doing that. Yeah. Remixing and HDing up some old shit and throwing it on the same disc.
There was a story about other games and stuff going on there, but I won't go into that because I think we're pretty much running over.
We are overrunning, indeed.
So let's wrap up the news. We'll
basically wrap up the show because there isn't really a third section to talk about this week.
Oh, fair enough.
Really not a lot coming out at all. So... we want to thank you very much for listening. And It's been a bit of a weird show because we've been talking at great length about all kinds of shit. And like I said, very Sony, heavy Sony.
Yeah.
Little Big Planet talking about the PSP 2 and, firmware and stuff. And, we don't talk enough about Sony stuff, I don't think. And, most of the time we do, it's me usually dissing it or something. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like the PlayStation. I love Little Big Planet. I think it's a reason to buy a PlayStation, to be honest, games like that.
I have to admit, the last couple of months or whatever, I have been playing quite a lot on PlayStation.
Exactly. So, it's definitely a console that's grown really, like in the last 6 months. There's been some amazing stuff come out for it. Yeah. And, the next month or two, Killzone 3 comes out. That's going to be a huge one. I think there's a demo for that coming up soon.
Which I will be playing and talking about on the show.
Yeah, awesome. But, it would be nice to do something a bit more for PS3 owners. We talk about a lot of Xbox stuff, but, it's just how it is. It's because I own an Xbox and not much else. So, thanks again. I'm talking shit again. Yeah. Thanks again for listening. We really, really appreciate you downloading and supporting us and subscribing. Please check out the website, www.games4allpodcast.com. We're also on Facebook. If you want to check us out on there, friend us on Facebook. You can just
follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter.
Twitter.com/Games4all.
Indeed. All that information is on the website, which I mentioned earlier. And once again, thanks for downloading and subscribing. Please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes as well. That'd be fantastic. Just take the few minutes to just write a little something. Preferably nice.
Yeah, we'd like nice reviews.
So,
if there is criticism, make it constructive, please, people.
Indeed. So, we'll be back next week with hopefully a fairly packed show, but not as packed as this one. No. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and bye. For more episodes of the Games4all podcast, please check out our website, www.games4allpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/Games4all. And you can like us on Facebook, just search for Games4all Podcast. Games4all is brought to you by iPage.
For more affordable and greener web hosting, check out ipage.com. Page.com. 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 Page.com.